Thank you so much for coming. Hi. I am Nuria Rodríguez Ortega. I am a full professor of digital art history at the University of Malaga. And I am also the director of the Telefónica Yuma Chair, which is a chair funded by Telefónica company. And the title of the chair is 5G Digital Culture and Next Generation Technologies for the Society. So as you can see, this title is completely aligned with the topics of this wonderful conference. So first of all, I would like to say thank you to the organization for having the chair in this conference, and particularly for giving me the opportunity to organize and to design this panel. It is my very pleasure to be here moderating this exciting conversation about the intersection between generative AI and art. Secondly, let me introduce you my invited speakers of today. They are Alfonso Villanueva and Ana Marcos. They are the co-founders of 3D Interactivo Studio, which is a research laboratory devoted to explore the intersection between technologies, the emerging technologies of today with the artistic practices. And Ana is a media artist, an engineer, and Alfonso is also an engineer with a deep knowledge in 3D, AI, and other emerging technologies. And Azael Ferrer, he's a Malagueño. He was born in Malaga, so I'm very proud about that. Azael is also a media artist. He's a professional with 20 years of experience in spectaculars and staging with light, design lighting, staging, AI as well. And he creates very poetic, immersive installations using as well generative AI. So the purpose of this panel is just to foster a conversation around the transformation that the incorporation of the AI technologies is producing in the field of the creative and artistic practices. So I have a bunch of questions for today. So the idea is I will launch a question so you can share your ideas, your comments, your thoughts, wherever you think interesting in this line. And that's it. The idea is just to keep a very productive conversation. So my first question of today is about skills. I am a teacher at the university, so for me the notion of skill is very important. And many times I think, I feel that one of my responsibilities is to think what kind of skills my students need to learn for the future, or even for the present. So my first question is, which are the new skills that artists need to learn in this time, but not only which new skills they need to learn, but which new skills are emerging in the intersection between artistic practices and AI. So, the floor is yours.
Me, for instance. Okay. Well, I think that for art, because I am an artist and I can only speak about this sector of creativity, because there are different parts that we can think about, but in the art field, I think that there are two skills that are very important today. One of them is to have knowledge about visual arts, and the second one should be to have knowledge about the technology that we consume, that we live with today. So this is important to know or to say, because normally we tend to forget one of them. Because there is some approaches, for instance, if a tech person wants to work in art field or to prepare something for a museum showcase or showroom, they tend to forget the artistic part, the artistic languages, that is essential if you want to do something more than disseminate scientific knowledge or to make an experiment inside the room. For the other hand, there are artists that think that technology is the future, or maybe it's today, but they don't care too much about this kind of let's say, tools or things to work with in art. And this is also a problem because the connection with the 21st century audiences is more important to have this kind of knowledge. And I would like to finish with, I would like to add another skill that is very important, which is related with the research. Because today, I think that the artistic proposals has to have sociocultural problems, sociocultural issues to handle, to make, to work with. And this is something that, for instance, in our approaches, we work with psychologists, and we work with psychologists, and so on. And this is another profile that should be inserted in the middle of artistic view and technology view.
Yeah, so to work in a multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary field, which is another challenge that we have, at least at the university, I have to confess that. So, Alfonso, what's your ideas?
Yeah, well, I think that an artist today, it has to be transdisciplinary. As Anna said, you cannot only rely on, let's say, a training on fine arts. You can not only rely on a training on technologies and AI training and so on. You have to understand both worlds if you want to make works of art that are meaningful for the society. And this has an impact also on the universities, as we were commenting before, is that traditionally, these two fields have been quite separate one from the other. I mean, you could approach from the technology point of view, you could approach from the art point of view, but what about the relationship between the two? Because there is much more relationship between the work of an engineer and the work of an artist that maybe we think of, because, I mean, everything is, creativity should be there, and is not only a part of an artist's work, it's not only a part of a technology work, it is almost everywhere. So that's why I think that the interdisciplinarity or transdisciplinarity is something that we have to get accustomed to be, not limiting our training to only one field.
Cool. Good afternoon. Thank you, everyone, to be still here listening us. I'm really happy that right now we're talking about art, more the AI, because I think, at least for me, what is important is make art, is give a message. It's like we want to give an idea, we want to say something to the world. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that is the important thing. If we talk about skill, technology, yeah, it's a good medium to say something. So what I will say to people is studying right now. So we need to learn, for sure, we need to learn a lot of technology. I always am learning different technology, but what I am learning that technology, because we are doing something for people feel something. I want people feel, go to a theater and go out from the theater crying or laughing, and like we want to have that feeling as still the way of people alive, and we're human beings, and we want to say something about it, about our life, about feelings, about different things. So I think it's universal, the skill for art, and the AI is only a way, a path. The technology is only a path. The always we need to learn. We need to be open, to be learning, to spread ourselves.
Do you feel that the focus is so much on the technology and less on the thing that we want to say with this technology? I mean, is this the problem, that we are focusing on the technology?
Sometimes I feel they were focused too much. When I talk with a company, with a director or somebody that came to with idea, the first thing they say is, stop, less is more. That's my, if you don't need the projection, you don't need the video mapping, if you don't need why, I always ask about why you want to say that. You need to do that? For real? It's like I try to get more deep about what they want to say, or what is the feeling, what they want to say, and try to use the technology for really the important thing, with a message. Right. If there's no message, don't use technology.
Okay, so this links with another question that I had in my my paper.
Sorry, maybe
because I have a scholar, so I have a paper there. Right. And it's about how the cultural value is transformed with this new ecosystem that AI is building. Because in the field of AI, we are talking a lot about how the concept of the creativity, or how the concept of authorship, or originality, or authenticity is transforming. But what about the cultural value? I mean, what factors might help us to distinguish high art value from, for example, mass-produced, digitized creation? Because now create is something very cheap, okay, relatively cheap.
For instance, I can give
So how?
I can give one example that happened us. When we start working with artificial intelligence, nobody knows about artificial intelligence because, as you know, this exploded 3 or 4 years ago, no? But we work in our first art installation. We work with an algorithm. We was able to predict the movement of a hand, and we want to do that because we want to interact with the public, with our visitors, without a mouse in our installation. And we train artificial intelligence, but nobody cared about that. Even we didn't say anything about we did it with artificial intelligence, because it's like I tell you, or some people who does not have any, well, it's well known for every people artificial intelligence, but another concept that is very technical, most of the people doesn't know anything about that. So the value is what we, how you use the tools, no? It's like creativity. Creativity is something that you train, and visual artists are the most creative people in the world, not because they are a good artist, because they work in this all his career. They are not genius like Picasso. They work every day, working and thinking about how to change things, or change perspective, or change. And this is what really has value, not to produce image that we consume every day, but doesn't have any meaning for us.
Yeah, in fact, art has always had an intention. I mean, an artist is not just producing nice paintings, nice pictures, or cool images. He or her has an intention, and the objective is to establish a connection with the people that are going to be watching his work of art. It's a means of communication. So this intentionality, which has been in the history of art since the beginning, is an essential part of a work of art, and is the result. If it connects with the people, if it emotions or moves people, if it takes into account what are the worries of the people, then becomes a piece of art, and this gives the value to his work. So producing a work of art is much more than just the aesthetics. It's a lot of things more. And this is something that we cannot forget when we do artistic work.
Could you say again the question, because I kind of lost.
Yeah, my question is how the cultural value is transformed
Cultural
by
value.
cultural value, yes. Yeah, or the perceived cultural value. Or in other words, do you feel that we are witnessing the emergence of a new quiche or generative quiche or something
there are
like
a lot
that?
of trash in internet, a lot of trash, digital, a lot of, with AI, it's like a full of trash all the time. But that's okay, always there's trash. On the street, in every place there's trash, and you need to be walking through the trash. And art is like, you need to find the good art. You need to find what really touches you.
And what factors might help us to distinguish that? Is there a way to do that, or we are immersed in this?
You need to have taste. How we learn about taste? Another question before somebody asks about that. How we can teach about taste, about education, about maybe we need to have more art in the school, maybe we need to talk more about art, maybe we need to talk less about art and maybe feel more the art, you know?
This put more responsibility on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe we are talking too much about art, and maybe we need to learn how to feel.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah.
I don't know, yeah, it's a lot of quiche, a lot of, yeah, but in the end, I don't think they survive.
Yeah.
I feel like that. It's like, okay, yeah, they're there. It's nice. Yeah, it's okay. If you like it, it's okay. We'll be there. If you don't like it, go for another thing.
According with that, I was thinking another thing, because all these digital images that we are producing many times without any artistic or cultural value is just digital waste, for example. But they need a lot of energy to be produced. So how to balance the use of AI, because of course this is a potential tool for creativity, for expand creativity, for expand imagination. How to balance this with the, for example, environmental impact that the use of generative AI is producing, because it involves the consumption of a lot of electricity, water. I mean, how to balance that, or how from the field of, or within the field of artistic practices, we can rebalance the use of AI due to their creative potentiality, and at the same time to keep a critical perspective, a critical approach about the, for example, environmental impact that it is producing.
Alfonso, maybe
So
you can
this is
speak
another-
about,
Well, maybe I can, it's part of the work of an artist to be conscious on the social impact of everything that happens in the society. And in the work of art and in many other sectors, we should be asking continuously, why are we doing things in a certain way, and what are the consequences of what we are doing? So in that regard, we, in the world of art, we are conscious that the use of AI has an impact, a social impact, and an environmental impact, because it consumes a lot of energy, it consumes a lot of water. And on the other hand, we want to use it because, as Nuria said, it enhances our creativity, it helps out a lot. So how to work with this contradiction? Well, we know that the companies that are working on AI are also conscious about these things, and many things are being done. And I come from Zaragoza. This is a place where I think that the production of energy in the region is 40–50% higher than the energy consumption in the region. And I see production out of renewable sources. So what's happening now? That most companies are installing data centers there because they can claim that the energy they are going to be using is coming from renewable sources. So this is happening, and I think that this consciousness about the environmental impact on the use of AI or on the use of any other technology is stronger and stronger. But there are ways of solving it. It's not only that technology is improving the efficiency every day and the power consumption is going down and so on. But at the same time, we are demanding more and more. So at the end of the day, we have to think about these things. And there are ways of doing it. And I think that the companies working on AI are doing it. And we as artists, we are worried about that, even if sometimes we are a little bit contradictory with ourselves because we are conscious of that, but we want to still use these technologies.
Yeah. I think this is a thing that is not only for art. Right now, everyone needs to be, we need to be thinking about how many watts this huge screen, all this lighting we're spending. We need to have like a screen here on the saying how many watts we're spending in this conference. That's worth it for learning about AI. So that's only one point, but there are a lot in our life about when you take the car. It's like probably what we're talking. It's like, again, education, about political, about this something that really we need to be talking about that more often. Like artists, yeah, we're really contradictory because we do shows, and sometimes we're spending a lot of electricity. And that is a really huge impact, like how many watts we spend when we go to see a show. It's incredible. And right now we change to LED technology, and it's less, but really not exactly less, because we have a lot of more features and a huge screen and a lot of more technology, so it's kind of the same. Maybe we need to have a program, like a political program about how to reduce major environmental impact, but not only in art, probably in all our life needs to be around that.
Yeah, my idea is that as the artistic field is inherently critical, or the approach from the artistic field is also critical. I mean, the way that artistic practices has to approach the reality, or the different domains of the reality is from a critical perspective. Yeah. I felt that there is a more responsibility in the artistic practices to be aware or to contribute to people or to citizens, be aware about this other side of the generative AI. And another question is how generative AI is transforming the creative process. And in this field, in this sense, it's very interesting for me the role, or the new role, or the renewed role that language is assuming in the creative process. Because now in producing images, we are not thinking in terms of visual features or visual attributes. We are thinking in terms of linguistic features. We are thinking which kind of word, which kind of linguistic expression is more effective to produce a specific visual effect or a specific image or whatever. So do you feel that we are witnessing a sort of paradigm shift, a new linguistic term, where the language is at the top and the visual is at the bottom? Because we don't think about visual problems. We think about linguistic problems.
Well, out of our experience, it's true that the new tools where you use natural language to produce a visual, they have, in my opinion, limitations. The way it is quite difficult to translate what an artist has in mind in terms of a visual image into a text that can be used as a prompt to generate what the artist has in mind. Because the process is complex, it requires a lot of expertise. As Elizabeth mentioned before, it's a process of trial and error with many, many attempts. It requires experimentation. But also I think that there is a limitation in the way the current tools deal with the relationship between language and visuals. In the case of a human mind, I think that the process of visual understanding and language are heavily interconnected, are intrinsically intertwined inside our minds in a way that we are not even conscious of. It's unconscious, and even more, it is subjective. I mean, it's not the same for me than for her and for anybody. And it is not the same for me today and maybe in 1 month. I mean, this so close relationship between language and visuals in the human mind, in the case of artificial intelligence algorithms, is not that deep, because the relationship is a mathematical artifact. I mean, the algorithms have been trained to have something that is called a common latent space. Latent space is a way of, let's say, condensing the information and compressing this information in a mathematical way, which is a vector, that is called a space, because mathematically is similar to the coordinate, as we describe mathematically the coordinates in a space, in a way that similar images or similar audio or similar text are close points in this space. When we deal with the relationship in algorithms between language and images, what the algorithms do is to learn a common space for both. That means that two images that are similar have common space, two text descriptions that are similar have a common space, and a text that describes well an image is exactly in the same space. But this profound relationship between language and image is not yet there. So that's why I think, at least in our experience, it's so difficult to say in words what you have in mind in terms of visual. On the other hand, the process itself of trying, of learning, of experimenting, and being surprised by the results is very productive for an artist. It's very inspiring. So I don't know what will happen in some time, but we have to get used to having these difficulties, play with them, experiment, and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to add something, Anna?
No, I think that he's
Just
perfectly so.
And Rafael?
Yeah, I'm right with what he say. Yeah, we have these two pros and cons, but I'm still really grateful about AI, because I spend a lot more time learning to programming. So learning to how to talk with the machine, learning some prompt is still kind of easy. I think it's only the beginning to totally, when you start to play with them, you say, yeah, it's okay. It's a little silly still. You need to learn how to talk, but in the future, that will be super easy and really make the work really easy to make things. And really, I am using more like I make my own art and I put it there. So it's like it's already my art, and modify that to do whatever kind I want. So it's kind of easy when you already give my input to the machine and say, okay, do this thing, do the other thing, but it's already my own piece.
I understand. According to that, and according to language as well, because one of the topics of this conference has been the importance of the natural language, and even we have said that we are witnessing a paradigm shift as well, because now we are using natural language for interconnecting or for relating or for talking with the AI. But in reality, we are using natural language, but the AI is not using natural language. It's using code and it's using vectors, Latin spaces, which is a mathematical language as well. So do you feel that this idea that we are in a new era due to this prevalence of the natural language is a semiotic fallacy? Because in the end, we are using natural language, but something is translating this natural language as another language that we don't understand.
Like English, for example.
Like English, for example. What do you think about that? And this idea, for example, that in the future, in the very next future, coding will not be necessary because we will use natural language for write any software or whatever. So, as artists, how did you envision this fall?
Whatever. They made it easy, it's okay, I don't care. I embrace all the technology.
Mm-hmm.
What I say in the beginning, I don't care. You made my work easy.
Yeah.
I will learn if I need it, but for what?
But don't care about, all the, for example, ideologies or biases that is in the language, the coding language, or the programming language that you are using? Or,
Yes.
no. Because, I think that we agree with that. This is a neutral language. It's a belt language. So, that we need to think about the ideologies, the cultural representations that are embedded in these languages. So if we are not aware about that we are using this kind of language, the distance between humans and machines are even bigger, right?
Yeah, in my opinion...
Does it make sense?
Just that sense, because in my opinion, I worked as engineer for some years before to be artist, and you have to understand the language of the engineer to work with your colleagues. And in this case, the language of the artificial intelligence is something that has been made by a group of people that is not clear, that has the quality, the gender, the so on, things that are for us today incredible, because if we are developing technologies that can be part of our lives in all the aspects of our lives, and we don't see, for instance, you look at, in case of gender, that just only 5% of experts in AI are women, or don't say another kind of bias, no? Bias. This is something that we have to solve. The same happens with artists. If you are speaking about computational creativity, and as I mentioned before, nobody tends to ask to the experts in the world of creativity, which are the artists, we will produce something that is a product that maybe will be the perfect product for some people, but not for the all humanity. So please put women, is urgently, for instance, put women in AI and other kind of technologies to be more inclusive, equality, so on, and put artists in this kind of developments, because nobody is, not all the people that wants to be artists are artists. I have friends that paint, but they are not painters, they are not artists, not in this 21st century. Maybe could be in the past, 400 or 500 years ago, making beautiful objects, but today an artist is something more than that.
Okay, thank you. So I think that the time is over, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your patience, and I enjoy the rest of the conference.